In the autumn of 1888, the bustling streets of Whitechapel, a district in London's East End, became the stage for one of the most infamous murder sprees in history. The gruesome crimes were attributed to an unidentified serial killer who became known as Jack the Ripper. This shadowy figure terrorized the city, leaving behind a trail of brutalized victims and a mystery that has confounded historians and criminologists for over a century. During the late 19th century, London was the largest city in the world, experiencing rapid industrial growth and a swelling population. However, the East End was marked by poverty, overcrowding, and crime. Whitechapel, in particular, was notorious for its squalid living conditions and the presence of destitute and vulnerable residents, many of whom were forced into prostitution to survive. The district's dark alleys and narrow streets provided the perfect backdrop for a killer to operate unseen. The police force, overburdened and understaffed, struggled to maintain order in a community rife with social unrest. Jack the Ripper is believed to have murdered at least 5 women, often referred to as the canonical 5, between August and November 1888. These victims were 1. Mary Ann Nichols, discovered on August 31st. Her body was found in Bucks Row with her throat slashed and abdomen mutilated. 2. Annie Chapman, found on September 8th in Hanbury Street. Her throat was cut and her body was disemboweled with surgical precision. 3. Elizabeth Stride, discovered on September 30th in Dutfield's Yard. She had a single deep cut to her throat, leading some to speculate that the killer was interrupted. 4. Catherine Eddowes, also killed on September 30th. Her body was found in Mitre Square with severe facial mutilations and abdominal wounds, suggesting a brutal attack. 5. Mary Jane Kelly, the final canonical victim, discovered on November 9th in her room at Miller's Court. Her body was horribly mutilated, with extensive disfigurement to her face and body. The murders were characterized by their savagery and the apparent knowledge of anatomy displayed by the killer. Each crime scene revealed a horrific degree of violence, with the victims' throats slashed and internal organs removed. The Metropolitan Police, led by Inspector Frederick Aberline, faced immense pressure to capture the killer. Despite their efforts, the investigation was hampered by the lack of forensic technology and reliable eyewitness testimony. Public fear and media frenzy fueled widespread speculation, with newspapers dubbing the murderer Jack the Ripper after a series of letters purportedly written by the killer were sent to the press. These letters, particularly the Dear Boss letter, captured public attention and added a macabre allure to the case. The police interviewed hundreds of suspects and followed numerous leads, but the investigation was plagued by false confessions, hoaxes, and misleading evidence. As the killer evaded capture, criticism of the police mounted, and frustration turned to despair. Over the years, many theories have emerged regarding the identity of Jack the Ripper. Some of the most notable suspects include Montague John Druitt, a barrister with a history of mental illness. Druitt's suicide shortly after the last murder fueled speculation that he was the killer. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant and barber. Kosminski was a suspect due to his known animosity toward women and his mental instability. George Chapman, a Polish-born barber and convicted serial killer. Chapman's presence in Whitechapel during the murders made him a potential suspect. James Maybrick, a Liverpool cotton merchant whose diary, discovered in the 1990s, contained confessions to the murders. However, the diary's authenticity is disputed. Prince Albert Victor, the grandson of Queen Victoria. Some conspiracy theories suggested a royal connection, though this theory lacks credible evidence. Despite extensive investigations and the efforts of modern historians and forensic experts, the true identity of Jack the Ripper remains unknown. The lack of conclusive evidence has allowed the mystery to persist, captivating the public imagination. The grisly murders committed by Jack the Ripper had a profound impact on Victorian society, highlighting the stark contrasts between the wealth of the upper classes and the poverty of the East End. The case exposed the inadequacies of law enforcement and the challenges faced by the police in solving crimes in a rapidly changing urban environment. The mystery of Jack the Ripper continues to inspire books, films, and documentaries, cementing the killer's place in popular culture as one of history's most notorious criminals. The case serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within society and the enduring allure of the unknown. The grisly murders of Jack the Ripper remain one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries, a tale of horror that continues to captivate and mystify. As new theories emerge and technology advances, the search for answers persists, but the shadowy figure of Jack the Ripper may forever elude us, a symbol of an enigma that remains just out of reach.